At the turn of the 21st century, Hollywood director Steven Spielberg was redefining cinema with his powerful portrayals of war. Having mastered the art on the big screen, he sought to bring that same cinematic intensity to the world of gaming. So, in early 2001, he reached out to a small indie team of about 22 developers known as 2015 Incorporated. Impressed by their work on Quake demos and a Half-Life expansion, he commissioned them to develop a World War II shooter. The game they released was Medal of Honor Allied Assault, which instantly became a hit, receiving universal acclaim for revolutionizing the World War II genre. The Omaha Beach level was especially praised for its parallels to the iconic scene from Spielberg's 1999 classic. However, as success bloomed, their publisher, Electronic Arts, sought to capitalize on the Medal of Honor franchise by developing future titles in-house, leading to the termination of their contract. This decision pushed 2015 to the brink of bankruptcy, and just days before disbanding, they received an offer from another publisher, Activision. With Activision's support, they rebranded as Infinity Ward, and in 2003 went on to release their first installment of a series that would soon dominate the gaming industry.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
In March of that same year, President George W. Bush announced that the United States was preparing to invade Iraq, marking a major escalation in the war on terror. As American troops deployed, the world watched Middle Eastern cities transform into battlegrounds. Armed with advanced technology and futuristic weaponry, the U.S. military engaged in a new kind of warfare defined by real-time intelligence and precision strikes. In response, the entertainment industry began to shift its storytelling, reflecting these new realities of modern politics and combat. Leading the charge, Infinity Ward boldly unveiled their fourth installment, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare launched in November 2007 to universal critical acclaim, selling 2 million copies in its first month alone. By June 2008, the game had surpassed 10 million total sales. Critics lauded its contemporary setting, cutting-edge graphics, and engaging gameplay. However, the most significant acclaim was reserved for its masterfully crafted single-player campaign. The storyline, driven by Soap as the main protagonist and supported by a cast of richly developed characters, drew players into a gripping world of intense camaraderie. Levels like Crew Expendable and Charlie Don't Surf delivered Call of Duty's signature high-stakes intensity. But one mission in particular broke the mold entirely, shattering the genre's expectations.
It's like you're walking in a field, you come up to a bush, and you see two guys pass the bush. And you raise your gun, you're about to take a shot, and the bush turns to you and goes, "Hold up.
Follow me and keep low."
In the early Call of Duty series, the gameplay was predominantly action-packed, relentless, and hectic. But with Modern Warfare, Infinity Ward took bold strides into new territory, delivering intensity through a cinematic lens that transformed the campaign's atmosphere from mission to mission. The first clear indicator of this shift comes with Death from Above, a chilling aerial mission viewed solely through the monochrome targeting display of an AC-130 gunship. However, it is the 13th mission, All Ghillied Up, that would indelibly alter the landscape of the series. In this level, players step into a flashback, taking on the role of John Price, the mustachioed SAS captain who, until now, had only appeared as a non-playable character.
I was just a lieutenant back then, doing some wet work. Chernobyl, Christmas for the bad guys. Even a decade later, a lot of them still used it to get their hands on nuclear material. A lot of them, including one, Imran Zakhaev. Of course, we couldn't just let that happen. Cash for spent fuel rods. That's one hell of a recipe for destruction. It was the first time our government had authorized an assassination order since the Second World War. I was under the command of Captain Macmillan.
As the mission opens, players find themselves lying in the grass, clutching a camouflage sniper rifle, staring into the void until Macmillan emerges from the underbrush in his ghillie suit.
Follow me and keep low.
Following Macmillan past a nearby shed, players are informed of two enemies lurking to the north. Here, stealth mechanics come into play. Stay low, move cautiously, and take the shot when the time is right.
He's down. Good night. Move.
As players hop over a fence, Macmillan points out two more enemies, a lookout in the church tower and another near a car, prompting players to first eliminate the lookout.
Do you have a shot on the lookout? Beautiful.
Yet, Macmillan's advice is more of a guideline than a strict order.
Quietly, or just let him pass. Your
Player
call.
choice, rarely a hallmark of Call of Duty campaigns, subtly unfolds in all Ghillied Up.
Tango down. Go.
For instance, rather than following orders to eliminate the lookout first, you might take down the foot soldier first. Macmillan will warn you.
Bloody hell, the lookout's gonna see the body.
But if you're careful and keep the kill out of sight, he'll acknowledge that instead.
I guess he can't see the body from there. That was a close one.
When an attack helicopter sweeps overhead, he instructs you to stay low and let it pass, but you have the option to defy orders and use rockets from the church to bring it down.
Coast is clear. They're on run. Open fire. Alright, now you're just showing off. Let's go.
With over 20,000 lines of recorded dialogue and countless subtle choices, all Ghillied Up showcased level design rarely seen in an FPS mission. Unlike traditional missions that trigger a mission failed screen if you step out of stealth, this level lets you live with the consequences of your choices. Failure here doesn't come with a reprimand, but with overwhelming odds. As you proceed through a field, Macmillan orders you to get down, and before you are aware, you realize an entire enemy armored column is advancing. Hiding in the grass and not moving a muscle while enemies walk by has become one of all Ghillied Up's most recognizable images. It's a profound feeling of vulnerability as you lie motionless, knowing two sniper rifles can't possibly take on a whole Russian convoy. In the next section, players are challenged to embrace their inner sniper in a gameplay style that has since become a Call of Duty trademark, synchronized sniping.
But then again, neither is sneaking past.
This is showcased brilliantly at the mission's midpoint, where you must silently eliminate a series of enemies. You have the choice to take out a soldier while his partner is turned away, but if your timing slips, Macmillan seamlessly handles the situation, neutralizing the target before he can react. Nearby, when another pair of enemies is seen dumping bodies into a pond, you're directed to pick off one while Macmillan takes out the other.
Good night. Move up.
While synchronized sniping has since become a common trope in shooters, this was the mission that set this standard of teamwork. As players press on, they encounter another Russian convoy, but this time there's no tall grass for cover. Instead, they must dart between and beneath enemy trucks, using them as makeshift shelter while carefully moving forward. This is a perfect microcosm of the pacing shown in Call of Duty 4's campaign, at times demanding patient stealth, and at others, high-stakes bursts of action.
Ready. Go.
The closing moments of all Ghillied Up propose a bittersweet reprieve after the nail-biting tension. players weave through a maze of abandoned buildings, devoid of enemies, granting them a moment to regain composure. As they enter the final building, Macmillan gazes out at the urban decay of Chernobyl and delivers the iconic line.
Look at this place. 50,000 people used to live in the city. Now it's a ghost town. Never seen anything like it.
This line has since become emblematic of the game, but it's the haunting beauty of the setting, a real-life location in Chernobyl, that truly leaves the player in awe of the unforgettable level they have just traversed. All Ghillied Up is legendary for its level design, with countless articles, videos, and even its own dedicated Wikipedia page analyzing its impact. It's an unforgettable mission in what I still believe, 18 years and 17 installments later, to be the best campaign in the Call of Duty series. The Modern Warfare trilogy, along with the early Black Ops games, delivered some of the finest single-player storytelling in video games. These titles broke entertainment records, securing Call of Duty's place as a foundational franchise in FPS gaming. But that era's magic, the heights it reached, has yet to be recaptured. As a teenager, I felt connected to characters like Soap, Roach, Frost, and Ghost. The moments when each of them met their fate hit hard, each loss a small heartbreak. Only Captain Price survives for the ultimate redemption, a figure as enduring as the series itself, appearing even in the very first Call of Duty. With Call of Duty 4, Infinity Ward revolutionized the first-person shooter and dominated the 7th generation landscape. Each game in the trilogy was a blockbuster in its own right, not to glorify war, but to capture its grim realities. Far from the mindless spectacle, these games carried a somber message. Every game over screen featured an anti-war quote, a quiet reminder of the cost of conflict. As kids, these messages might have flown over our heads, but now, they add layers of meaning and sadness to memories of playing these missions. Call of Duty isn't just about the thrill of bringing the battlefield to our living rooms. It's a subtle reminder that we enjoy that safety because others in a world away from our screens are fighting to preserve it. The series reminds us that even as we play, real lives and stories underscore the weight of the conflicts we're experiencing through the screen. And while we may be drawn in by the action, we are reminded of the human stories, the sacrifices, and the courage of those who answered their own call of duty.